Four things that you can do in order to improve your credit profile and increase your credit score. Now, before we talk about the improving and the increasing, let us talk about why it is essential for one to have a healthy credit profile and a good credit score. Number one, it might be that you are looking to access credit. So, meaning that you want to go to a financial institution and borrow money. It might be that you want to buy a car, you want to buy a property, or you want to get a personal loan because you have an emergency. Whatever the case might be, you are going to a financial institution because you are looking for money. Now, those financial institutions, they're going to want to firstly establish affordability. So affordability means that you are able to pay them back. And how you're able to pay them back? It means that you need to have a source of income. It could be you have a job, it could be that you have a business, whatever the case might be. But you now need to be able to show them that you can pay them back. And then the second part is that they want to see the type of person that you are when it comes to finances. So your financial behavior. And through your credit profile, that's where they're able to look at your financial behavior. And then, of course, that now spills onto your credit score. So that's the first part, accessing credit. Number two, it might then be that you are looking to get a job or to get a better job. Now, a lot of the employers out there these days run what we call a credit check. So that's where they want to establish the kind of person that you are when it comes to finances, especially if the industry that you're in or the position that you're applying for demand that you handle money or handle finances for your employer or for the clients of your employer. Of course, you need to be a person of good standing when it comes to finances. So that's number two, employment prospects. Number three is where we talk about now when you're looking to rent an apartment, a building, whatever the case might be. So you're looking to rent some kind of a property. Now, a lot of the rental agents out there, they do credit checks as well because they want to see that at the end of the day, you are going to be able to afford the rent and you're going to be able to pay them back, on a monthly basis if that is the case. So they're going to run the credit checks. So that will be for rental purposes. And then the last one, it might be for romantic relationships. Now, a lot of the times these days, I think people have seen that we enter into long-term romantic relationships, and at the end of the day you find that person is financially, yeah, it's not good. So they want to see exactly where are you when it comes to finances, and it also gives an indication of the type of person that you are when it comes to dealing with money. And really it becomes very, very important, particularly if you guys are committed and also looking to enter into marriage. You want to make sure that everything is out there. If somebody has debt, I want to see what kind of debts you have, and of course how we're going to then be able to sort out that problem. So those four things are very, very critical around looking at our credit profiles and our credit score. Now let's now go to now how do you improve your credit profile and your credit score. Number one, you need credit. So you need credit, right? So I mentioned that financial institutions, they go and check your credit profile to firstly establish if they can give you the credit, and the secondly to be able to establish what kind of interest rates that they give you. Because now financial institutions, they don't just borrow you the money just out of the goodness of their heart. They are in business, so they make money out of the interest that they charge on the money that they borrow you. So they want to then establish to see what kind of a person are you when it comes to that. So I know there might be somebody who says, but Gavin, I'm still starting out and I don't have any credit. What do I do? But I want to maybe buy a car. I want to buy property. What can I do? And what I will then advise is that try and get some kind of credit. So it could be like maybe open a clothing account, just for purely from that perspective that you want to have some kind of financial history, which financial institutions can go and see and be able to establish what kind of a person are you when it comes to finances. So open an account of some sort. Could be maybe taking up a credit card, whatever the case might be, but have some kind of credit that can then help you to then access more credit and be able to help you to get better interest rates. So have credit, unfortunately. The second one is pay your bills on time. Pay your bills on time. It sounds so easy to say, but it's very, very vital. Because when you go and access credit, you want to access credit, or even from an employment side of things, or you want to go and rent, or you find your lovely sweetheart and you want to enter into marriage, and then they say, let me see your credit profile. What kind of a person are you from a financial perspective? It's absolutely imperative that when they see that, they see that you are a person that honors your financial obligations. So you pay on time. If they say on the 15th, you pay on the 15th. So that is very, very important to make sure that at the end of the day, pay your bills on time, to be able to access credit, but also to get good interest rates. Because now, through having a good credit score, that will be able to put you in a better position to get good interest rates. So that's number two. Number three is that please avoid reversing debit orders. Please avoid reversing debit orders, because the more you keep on reversing, that has a negative effect against your name, from a credit profile perspective, because it just means that you cannot be trusted, right? So, and no matter what the reason is, it cannot be frequent. Yes, maybe it could be maybe once in a while, if some maybe there's because it happens. Maybe you sign up for something and you forget about it, and then you see that debit order running through, but you don't want it to go to happen. Maybe you can maybe reverse it once, but if you do it frequently, then it has really a negative impact against your credit profile. And then the last one is that please try and keep your accounts for longer. Please try keep your accounts for longer, because when you keep them for longer, it then gives that impression that you are really disciplined around paying back your financial obligations, or your financial debt. So it's absolutely important to be able to have a longer period of your credit facilities. So always just try and keep them as long as possible, because I know at times what we do is that we take up a credit facility and we want to finish paying it off very, very quickly. But at the end of the day, it also just affects you, especially when it comes to interest rates. Because remember, you want to get the lowest interest rates as possible, because then it means that the cost of borrowing becomes less. But if now your interest rates that you get are higher, it means that you end up paying back more in terms of what you have borrowed. So when you keep your credit facilities longer, that gives that impression that you are a good person in terms of honoring your debts. And of course, you always pay back on time. But again, I think stressing that part, that pay back, you need to pay on time. So don't just then keep your accounts longer, your credit facilities longer, but you don't pay on time. That also defeats the purpose. And the bonus point that I can also put in there is that try and pay down your credit facilities as much as you can. So what does that mean? So for example, if now you have a credit card and the financial institutions give you a limit of 10,000, preferably always try to keep to the 30% mark. So don't now use everything, so you always just on a 10,000 usage percentage. So you have used 100% of what they've given you. That also just have not negative, but it doesn't really sit well from a credit profile perspective. But if now they see that you are within that 30%, so it just shows that at the end of the day you are very disciplined, right? And you manage your finances correctly or properly. Because now if you always maxed out in terms of the limit that they give you, other financial institutions, they start looking at that as you can you are desperate, you always dependent on that credit facility. But if now you pay down and you always within at least 30%, that has a way to really improve your credit score, and make it much more nicer. Because if now we have a good credit score, we know that our chances of getting good interest rates is very high as well. So please make sure that you look at all of those things that I have mentioned, so that at the end of the day you keep a good credit profile, but also that your credit score also improves, because when it gets to that green part, it becomes green. It means that you are really, really credit worthy, and financial institutions will want to give you the credit, but also give you a better, good interest rate at the end of the day. So I hope this definitely will assist you, especially now as it's the new year and we are looking at maybe acquiring assets. We want to build wealth. All of those, we want to get better jobs. We have met people that we want to settle with, and of course maybe we want to rent premises for our businesses, or whatever reason. You want to make sure that at the end of the day you have a good credit profile and your credit score is on point. Now, wonderful. I hope that this definitely helps. And please let me know if it's something that you need to share. You need to comment on any of what I've said. You have even better advice of people what they can do to improve their credit profiles and their credit score. Gavin Kabela, I'm signing out. See you on the flip side.